Chapter 163, Grade 6 Array Master 1. Then let's start quickly. If we have less people, we'll get a larger portion in each. With his hands behind his back, the Black Eagle Emperor flashed to the center in the distance. Songshi realized that the surrounding disciples were gradually getting excited. He knew what was about to happen and what he should do next. If everything went well, these people would have a chance to obtain precious treasures. Of course, if they were not careful, they would also die here. As for him, it was naturally best if he could die a few more times. Everyone, the Yaomun Palace is also preparing to join. Just as the various factions rubbed their fists and prepared to break the first restriction of the Cave Abode, a gentle voice sounded. Yaomun Palace, many people turned their heads. Songshi's heart skipped a beat as he looked at the source of the voice. A white disk appeared on the horizon. At first glance, one would think that the moon had risen from the horizon. The moon in the distance was rapidly enlarging. Soon, a huge snow-white disk appeared. This thing's main body was a special Dharma treasure carved from white jade. There was a palace on it, with cold runes engraved on its surface. It looked very exquisite, just like a moon palace. There were hundreds of figures standing on this white moon, and most of them were women. The clothes they wore were colorful. Most of the men were handsome, while the women were as beautiful as flowers and jade. There was no lack of devastatingly beautiful women here. The person who spoke was a beautiful woman in purple palace clothes. Her face was delicate and flawless, and her skin was tender. She was about 30 years old and looked flirtatious. She looked like a well-rounded, beautiful young woman. Songshi glanced at this woman. She was wearing a veil, so he could only imagine her beauty. Who knows, she might actually be an ugly freak. He muttered in his heart and looked at the other disciples. He did not see Liu Ruxu and Big Smart. The two of them are at most in the Foundation establishment realm. Even if they come, they can only watch from the outside and are not qualified to join. Songshi thought to himself. He actually missed Liu Ruxu quite a bit. After all, she was his first woman. As for Big Smart, because he had followed him for many years, he naturally cared for him. I've long heard that Fairy Ziyu of Yaomun Palace has successfully transformed into a nascent soul. I didn't expect her to personally come today. Sky Demon Cult's Deputy Cult Master Lu Bingshuan revealed a smile and seemed to welcome the Yaomun Palace. Other than the Sky Demon Cult who welcomed Yaomun Palace, most of the people from the Demon Slaying Department and Qianzheng Academy did not look too happy. Regarding the demons, they never had a close relationship with the entire human race and generally would not side with any human sex. However, the Yaomun Palace was different. If they came at this time, it meant that they were siding with the demonic cult. Ziyu, who should now be addressed as Perfected Lord Ziyu, smiled at Lu Bingshuan and said, Sect Master Bingshuan, our Yaomun Palace is here mainly to participate. Our main purpose is to train our disciples. We don't have any intention of snatching any treasures. When the time comes, we hope that you can protect us. Now that Great Jin was in chaos, the rules have all been completely uprooted. It was basically impossible for them to continue living in seclusion like before. Furthermore, if they continued to be sealed off, without interacting with the outside world, the sect would fall too far behind. It was precisely under such circumstances that the Yaomun Palace decided to send someone over at the last minute. However, since they rarely got involved in such matters in the past, they knew that they should take it one step at a time. This time, they would only let Perfected Lord Ziyu, who had just broken through, lead the team and interact with the other sects first. If everything goes well for them, they may think about investing more resources and participating in the outside world. But even if they do not end up becoming more involved with such affairs in the future, it would still be beneficial for them to interact with the various large sects now. Not only will they be able to obtain the latest piece of intelligence, if they encounter troubles in the future, they will be able to seek relevant help. No problem, your palace master and I are considered friends. We used to have a good relationship, so I will naturally take care of you. Lu Bingshuan agreed readily. Junior sister Ziyu, come with us directly. Thank you for your help. Perfected Lord Ziyu smiled sweetly. It was breathtaking. She controlled the brilliant jade disc to fly towards the Black Palace. As she took a step forward and her figure disappeared from the spot in a blur. In the blink of an eye, she arrived in front of the Black Palace. She landed beside Lu Bingxuan and nodded at the Heavenly Corpse sect, Heavenly Poison sect, and Heavenly Ghost sect. Suddenly, her gaze wavered at a certain spot for a moment. Why do I have a strange feeling when I see this person? Ziyu was slightly puzzled. After confirming that she had never seen this person before, she retracted her gaze immediately, as if nothing had happened. Only Songshi noticed that this woman was looking at him. There were so many people in the crowd, but she had taken another look at him. Could it be that she had discovered him? Songshi deliberately grinned at Ziyu, but the woman had already stopped looking at him. HMPH, what are we waiting for? If we wait any longer, the flowers will soon wither. The flowers will soon wither is a Chinese phrase to elaborate someone who has been waiting for a long time. A chubby old man walked out from the huge white store. He was wearing an ancient grayish-white robe, and his face was covered in grayish-white whiskers. His hair was loose, and he looked unkempt. His eyes were deep, and there was no sharpness in them. He did not look like a swordsman, but it was exactly this sense of mediocrity that made people not dare to underestimate him. Lu Bingxuan was slightly worried and spoke up for perfected Lord Ziyu, Sword Emperor Gale. With one more major faction and one more nascent soul joining us, everyone can save more effort, right? These words directly went against what the Black Eagle Emperor had just said. The latter harumphed, now, it's time for us to decide what to do. The arrangement of manpower will naturally be handled by Heaven's Secrets Office's Heavenly Star, Perfected Lord, as has the one with the highest level of array formation here, unless someone can prove to be better than him.